Throughout history, artists have used painting not only to create beauty, but to confront humanity's darkest fears. Death, madness, hell, nightmares, and the unknown have always haunted the human imagination. Some artworks were meant to warn, others to shock, and some simply to disturb those who dared to look at them. In this video, I'll take you 3 of the most disturbing paintings ever created, works that many people would rather avoid. Together, we'll go beyond the initial horror and try to understand the meaning behind the madness, fear, and symbolism hidden within them. Disturbing art has always existed because fear itself is universal. Every society, regardless of time or culture, has tried to give form to its anxieties through images. These paintings are mirrors of the subconscious, reflecting beliefs about death, punishment, desire, and vulnerability. Whether meant to educate, terrify, or provoke emotion, these works reveal more about the human mind than about monsters themselves. Dreams allow us to visit places we've never seen, meet people we don't know, and experience realities that defy logic. For centuries, artists have been fascinated by this dreamlike realm. From Romanticism to Surrealism, painters have used dreams, and especially nightmares, as gateways into the subconscious. Those intense dreams that wake you in the middle of the night, heart racing, feeling trapped. That sensation is exactly what our first artists sought to capture. In 1781, Henry Fuseli painted The Nightmare, one of the most unsettling images in art history. The painting shows a woman collapsed in deep sleep, her body illuminated against a dark, oppressive background. Sitting on her chest is a demonic incubus, a creature believed to paralyze and torment sleepers. Behind them, emerging from the darkness, a black horse stares directly at the viewer, silent, unnatural, and terrifying. The incubus sitting on the woman's chest is not just a monster from folklore. It represents oppression, loss of control, and the invisible weight of fear pressing down on the human body. In many cultures, this exact sensation appears in myths describing spirits that visit people at night, immobilizing them while consciousness remains awake. The woman's posture is crucial. Her head hangs backward, her arms fall lifelessly, and her body appears completely surrendered. She is not fighting. She cannot. This helplessness is the true horror of the scene. Fuseli does not paint terror as violence or chaos, but as paralysis, the terrifying moment when the mind is alert but the body refuses to respond. The black horse emerging from the darkness intensifies this feeling. Its wide, staring eyes break the illusion of the painting and confront the viewer directly. Unlike the incubus, which interacts with the woman, the horse acknowledges us. It becomes a bridge between the dream world and reality, suggesting that nightmares do not belong only to sleep. They follow us into waking life. There is also an undeniable erotic tension in the painting, which makes it even more unsettling. Fuseli deliberately blurs the line between fear and desire, exposing how closely they can coexist. In the 18th century, this combination shocked audiences, as it challenged moral norms and revealed emotions society preferred to suppress. Light and shadow play a fundamental role here. The woman's pale body glows against the darkness, making her vulnerability unavoidable. The shadows surrounding her feel heavy, almost tangible, as if the darkness itself were closing in. Fuseli uses chiaroscuro not just as a visual technique, but as a psychological tool. Ultimately, the nightmare can be read as a visual manifestation of the internal conflict between reason and irrationality, control and surrender, consciousness and the subconscious. It is not simply a painting meant to scare. It is an image that forces us to confront how fragile the human mind becomes when stripped of control. That is why, centuries later, this painting still disturbs us. If the nightmare traps us inside the mind, forcing us to experience fear as paralysis, then the next work drags us even deeper, not into a dream, but into hell itself. After confronting the terror of the subconscious, we now face terror made physical. In Dante and Virgil in Hell, William Adolphe Bouguereau transforms literary horror into flesh, muscle, and pain. Inspired by Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy, the painting depicts a moment inside the eighth circle of hell, where the falsifiers are condemned to eternal punishment. Unlike Fuseli's dreamlike ambiguity, Bouguereau gives us clarity, and that clarity is brutal. At the center of the composition, two naked male bodies are locked in violent struggle. This is not symbolic violence. It is raw, direct, and intimate. Giovanni Schicchi, consumed by rage, attacks Capocchio with animalistic fury, tearing into his flesh, biting into his neck, pressing his knee into his back. The violence is disturbingly close. There is no distance, no escape. What makes the scene even more unsettling is the undeniable erotic tension between the two bodies. Bouguereau deliberately places beauty and brutality side by side. Perfect anatomy, sculpted muscles, and classical proportions are used to depict an act of savage aggression. This contrast forces the viewer into discomfort. We are trained to admire beauty in art, yet here, beauty becomes a vehicle for horror. The painting asks an uncomfortable question. Can something be visually beautiful and morally repulsive at the same time? In the background, Dante and Virgil observe the scene. They do not intervene. They cannot. Virgil, crowned with laurel, represents reason and poetic wisdom, yet even he is powerless in hell. His presence reminds us that knowledge alone does not protect us from suffering. Above them all, a demon smiles. That smile is perhaps the most disturbing element of the painting. It is calm, satisfied, almost amused. The demon does not participate in the violence. He oversees it. His expression suggests that this suffering is not chaos, but order. Punishment here is systematic, eternal, and justified according to divine law. Bouguereau's technical mastery makes the horror inescapable. Every muscle strain, every twisted limb, every shadow reinforces the physicality of pain. Unlike the nightmare, where fear comes from the unknown, Dante and Virgil in hell terrifies us by showing too much. This is fear without mystery, suffering without end, violence without redemption. And by forcing us to witness it, the painting turns the viewer into a silent accomplice, standing beside Dante, unable to look away. After witnessing hell as a place of eternal punishment, one might expect the horror to end there. But the most disturbing form of terror is not found in demons, fire, or violence. It is found in the human face. If Bouguereau shows us suffering imposed from the outside, the laughing fool forces us to confront something far more unsettling, suffering that has learned to smile. This painting, attributed to Jacob Cornelis van Oostsened, does not overwhelm the viewer with chaos or brutality. Instead, it unsettles through ambiguity. At first glance, the figure appears harmless, even playful. A jester, frozen mid-laughter, engaging directly with the viewer. And yet, the longer you look, the more uncomfortable the image becomes. The fool's smile is not joyful. It is sharp, controlled, almost accusatory. Unlike the victims in hell, this figure is not being punished. He is aware, dressed in a brightly colored garment and wearing a donkey-eared hood, a traditional symbol of folly. The jester represents more than entertainment. In Renaissance symbolism, the fool was allowed to speak truths others could not. He existed outside social order, protected by his madness. But this freedom came at a cost. In his left hand, he holds a marat, a miniature jester's head, a symbol of self-mockery and repetition. He is not just a fool. He is a fool imitating himself. An endless loop of performance without identity. In his right hand, he holds an empty frame where glasses should be. This detail is crucial. The fool is not wearing the lenses that could improve his vision. He holds them, yet chooses not to use them. This gesture refers to a well-known proverb of the time. He who never looks through his fingers is useless in the world. To look through one's fingers meant to deliberately ignore certain truths in order to survive. The fool is laughing, because he knows something we avoid. He understands that clarity is painful, that awareness is dangerous, that seeing too much leads to despair. His laughter becomes a defense mechanism. If Dante in Virgil in Hell shows us punishment after judgment, the laughing fool shows us what happens before it: denial. The moment where humans choose comfort over truth, amusement over responsibility, the fool looks directly at us, breaking the fourth wall. He is not laughing at himself. He is laughing at us, at our willingness to ignore corruption, at our habit of turning away from uncomfortable realities, at our tendency to mistake distraction for happiness. This is why the painting feels disturbing without showing violence. There is no blood, no demon, no fire, only recognition. And perhaps that is the most terrifying realization of all, that the fool is not mad. He is perfectly aware. When these three paintings are placed side by side, something unsettling emerges. They are not simply disturbing images from different periods of art history. They form a psychological sequence. In the nightmare, terror invades the mind from within. Fear is subconscious, uncontrollable, intimate. In Dante and Virgil in Hell, fear becomes external. Punishment is visible, structured, eternal. And in The Laughing Fool, fear is no longer feared at all. It is ignored, mocked, disguised as entertainment. Together, these works trace the evolution of how humans process darkness. First, we experience it as confusion, then as judgment, and finally, as denial. This is why these paintings continue to disturb modern viewers. They do not belong to the past. They describe us. The incubus pressing down on the sleeping woman reflects anxiety, paralysis, and intrusive thoughts, experiences still common in modern psychology. Hell, with its endless cycles of violence, mirrors our obsession with punishment, blame, and moral hierarchy. And the fool represents distraction culture, laughter as avoidance, performance as survival, irony as armor. We live surrounded by images, noise, and constant stimulation, yet rarely stop to confront what unsettles us. Just like the fool, we often choose not to put on the glasses. These paintings challenge the comforting idea that progress has freed us from fear. Instead, they suggest that fear has only changed its shape. What was once attributed to demons is now explained through psychology. What was once hellfire is now trauma. What was once madness is now normalized, but the emotional core remains the same. That is the power of disturbing art. It does not shock to provoke disgust. It unsettles to provoke recognition. These artists were not trying to scare their audiences. They were holding up a mirror, and what they reflected was not evil monsters, but human nature itself. There is a reason these paintings stay with us long after we stop looking at them. It is not the violence. It is not the darkness. It is recognition. Each of these works forces us to confront a version of ourselves we prefer to ignore. In the nightmare, we are the woman, vulnerable, trapped, unable to move while something unseen weighs us down. We know that feeling, even if we never name it. In Dante and Virgil in Hell, we are not just the condemned. We are also the spectators, watching suffering, analyzing it, finding meaning in it from a safe distance. And in The Laughing Fool, that is where things become truly uncomfortable, because the fool does not scream. He does not suffer. He smiles. He laughs while refusing to see. He turns blindness into entertainment. And suddenly, the question is no longer about art history. It becomes personal. How often do we laugh instead of confronting what disturbs us? How often do we scroll past suffering, injustice, or fear, not because we don't understand it, but because understanding it would require change? The fool holds the glasses that could help him see, but he doesn't wear them, and that choice is deliberate. This is what makes the painting unsettling. Not death, not demons, but denial. These artworks do not accuse us of being evil. They accuse us of being comfortable. Comfortable with fear, comfortable with distance, comfortable with not looking too closely. Disturbing art does not demand admiration. It demands honesty, and honesty is often the most terrifying thing of all. If there is one thing these paintings make clear, it is this: art does not exist to comfort us. It exists to reveal us. Across centuries, these artists used canvas and pigment to confront the fears their societies refused to name. Fear of death, fear of the unknown, fear of moral collapse, fear of seeing ourselves without illusion. That is why these works still disturb us today, because the fears have not disappeared. They have only changed shape. The demons are no longer painted on walls. They live in our minds, in our silence, in what we choose not to see. Disturbing art is not meant to be enjoyed. It is meant to be endured, to be questioned, to be remembered, and most importantly, to remind us that darkness has always been part of the human story. The difference is not whether darkness exists. The difference is whether we are willing to look at it honestly. If this video made you uncomfortable, that means it worked. If it made you think, pause, or see these paintings differently, then art has done its job. Here on Hidden Intellects, we explore the ideas, histories, and symbols that lie beneath the surface of art, philosophy, and human behavior. Not to give easy answers, but to ask better questions. If you value deep analysis, art history, psychology, and the hidden meanings behind culture, make sure to subscribe. New videos are uploaded regularly, and each one dives deeper than the last. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these paintings disturbed you the most, and why? Was it the nightmare, the violence of hell, or the smiling figure who refuses to see? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective is part of the conversation. And remember, the most disturbing art is not what shows us monsters. It's what reminds us that we might already be looking at ourselves.